Hey friend, welcome. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen. I'm a part-time online clothing reseller, which means I go to thrift stores, I buy used clothes, I list them on eBay and Poshmark and sell them for a profit. Today I'm going thrifting in Corning, New York and Painted Post, New York. Now, I live in Indiana, so this is a bit of a fun trip for me. My husband had a conference here and my kids are staying with grandparents, and so I got to come along with him. It is a beautiful day and I'm really excited. We did this trip last year, and so I've been to the 3 thrift stores that I'm going to today already, and I really enjoyed them last year. So I'm hopeful that I will find some really good treasures, and I'm looking forward to it. But first, I'm gonna do something fun just for me. So I got a pedicure. That is interesting. I've not had an experience like that, and I think it's been 7 years since I've had a pedicure. I used to get them on my due dates when I had my babies, so I had something fun to look forward to instead of just waiting around wondering if my baby was going to be born that day. And my last baby was born 7 years ago, so I kind of think that's the last time I had a pedicure. I was going to record as I was walking down the street and I lost my nerve because it got busy. Even though I'm never gonna see these people again in my life, I still feel self-conscious. So I went down to the other end of Market Street in Corning, and if you've never been to Corning, New York, it is so cute. They have this really cute little area. There was a farmer's market. I think that's probably why it got so busy. And there's just little shops and restaurants, and there's blown glass and pottery and little art studios. And there was this little display of kids artwork in a window front. I just thought it was really precious and cute. So I am now at the other end of Market Street, and I'm going to go into, it's called Pookie's, believe it or not. Pookie's and Little Britches, I believe, is the other part of it, but it's a consignment store, and we'll see what we find. I don't need things, so my plan is to be real particular about what I'm buying, because I don't really need a lot of inventory right now, but I'm excited to find some treasures. So here we are at Pookie's, Little Britches, and more. And there is so much more. They had so many home goods, hard goods, purses. There was quite a lot to look at. It's a really cute store. I'm not sure if it's consignment or buy, sell, trade. I do think it is consignment, but I'm not positive on that. I started at the dresses. I usually do. Most of the dresses were priced between $8 and $10. There was a lot of LuLaRoe in all of the thrift stores that I visited that day. Not really sure. I did look this brand up because it was one I was not familiar with, but the sell-through rate and comps were not worth the price. That is a common theme. A lot of Old Navy. Yeah, there was a lot that I found that maybe if I had found it for $2 or $3, I would have considered buying it. But most of the items I couldn't have enough profit, and the items wouldn't have sold for very long. That little peach dress, I think if it were long, if it was a maxi length, I would have looked it up, but I didn't. This was like a cotton gauze pantsuit. That was really cute. This is Fashion Bug, which I think is a completely vintage brand. I might be wrong on that, but this just didn't feel like the right style of vintage, in my opinion. Yeah, lots of dresses to look at. Lots of things. I feel like a lot of thrifting is looking and not finding something. There's definitely a higher percentage of not finding something than finding something. This was a little romper. Kind of cute. I don't remember looking that one up, but maybe, yeah, there. When I am looking under the dresses, often I'm looking for material tags, because if they're linen or silk, I might be interested. But that time I was looking for the shorts. This is Quacker Factory, which again, if it had been in a lower price point, I probably would have bought it. I did take a quick glance at all the shoes. I did not find anything that would have been worth reselling. I am seeing a pair that I should have looked to see if they were my size, but I didn't. Looking some more at home goods. One of my favorite things to do at thrift stores while I'm looking for things to resell is to look for things for my own home, for myself. And here in this case, I was looking for some clothes for my son. They had a lot of just regular brands, a lot of Walmart brands, Old Navy, Target brands, Kohl's brands. And I feel like that's really common in most thrift stores, even buy-sell trades and consignment stores. And these were priced probably $5 or $6 for kids' clothes, whereas, if my local thrift stores are going to be priced more in the $2 to $3 range for kids' clothes. Even my Goodwill only prices kids' clothes at $4. This was a scrub top. I thought it was kind of a fun little Star Wars print, but it was priced at $8, $9. And it, again, wasn't worth it. So I have been looking more at linens. So pillowcases, sheets, even curtains. Waverly, Pottery Barn, and Ralph Lauren are some brands that I'm kind of actively looking for. I was hoping this quilted paisley print, I thought that it might be one of those brands, but unfortunately it wasn't. And there are some maternity. That's not something I am actively looking for to resell, but I have sold some maternity. This cute little jacket, I forgot to look up. I looked up another dress another jacket rather, and then forgot to go back. This was the jacket I did look up. It's REI Elements, but again, the sell-through rate was very low. But that kind of tapestry jacket just had a unique shape to it, and I had intended on looking it up and forgot to go back and do it. And I did not do a good job of showing the tag in the video, so I don't even know what brand it was. This I was looking at for me. Seersucker is always good, but I don't think that was a good brand. And then, yeah, just lots of jackets. There's another jacket here. I believe it's Lauren Conrad. And it was, like linen, had a really unique sleeve, but then it was priced at $25. This was a Tommy Bahama silk shirt, which usually I would be interested in buying, but again, the sell-through rate just isn't high enough for me to warrant spending $8 or $9 on a shirt. Lots of men's shirts I'm looking through. I enjoy selling men's clothes. My top seller is women's clothes, but I don't know, men's clothes are just easy, I think, but I don't find quite as many in the men's department as I do in the women's. So this was interesting. It was a Walt Disney World t-shirt. I thought it was vintage. I was looking to see if it was single stitch. It's not, it's double. They only wanted the $350, but what was really interesting about it is it's blank. There's no graphic on the front or the back. They had 4 or 5 of these in various parts of the store. There were a few here and then a few in the women's shirts as well. So that was kind of interesting. Just check-in tags. There is a, let's see, I think a J. Crew shirt coming up here. And J. Crew is a brand that I like to sell, but most of the shirts are going to sell between $15, maybe $20 or $25. I did just find a, what was it called? Something Oxford, a brushed Oxford, a broken in. It was a broken in Oxford, and the sell-through rate was actually quite high on that. I do like looking at sport coats, suit coats. That one I think was polyester, and I just don't even really look up polyester suit coats. There are exceptions to that rule. Always exceptions, a big but. And yeah, today I just did not find anything. This I maybe should have looked up Finter. Is that what that is? That was actually FinTech, and I just looked it up. The sell-through rate is 12% with a $14.33 average sale price. So certainly not worth it. I'm on to the women's pants. These were Chico's Energy, which I have sold quite a bit of in the past. I sold a pair of pants very similar to those, or shorts rather, not pants, but they only sold for like $13. So certainly consignment store prices, it's not going to be worth my time to, make $2 or $3 on those. So one of the things I do when I'm thrifting, especially at a larger thrift store like this, or when I'm pressed for time, is I start in size extra large and look through extra large and then the plus sizes. I do this for a couple reasons. One, it just helps save on time and kind of limits, what I'm looking at. So I'm not looking at everything in the store. But two, I do it because my experience is that the larger sizes, especially the plus sizes, do sell faster and sometimes for a little bit more money, depending on the brand and style. And condition, of course. So the other reason I do it is because that's my size. And so, like I said earlier, I do like to look for myself as I'm thrifting and shopping. And so that's why I do that. I have sold, extra smalls, size 0, 00. So I'm not saying that only larger sizes sell. I think that all sizes sell. That's just, in my experience, the plus sizes sell faster. If you find, well, for me anyway, if I find talls or longs, those are excellent, especially, or even short, just kind of those specialty sizes. That was a cute little tank top. I'm looking for tank tops right now because I need some for summer. I like to look through sleepwear. Sometimes there's just some hidden gems in there. And there are some sleepwear brands that can be worth a lot of money and have high sell-through rates. So unfortunately, I did not find any today, but that's okay. I did find a Disney pajama set that had a little embroidery of Winnie the Pooh and Piglet there. I don't think I looked that up, but I have in the past sold some vintage Winnie the Pooh Disney things for a lot of money. Sold a pair of overalls for $50 really fast. Beach Lunch Lounge. I did look this up because it was new with tags. I've heard of this brand before, never seen it. The sell-through rate was quite low. So I left it there, sadly. It was very cute. We are currently in Campbell, New York by the lovely Cohocton River. It was a 7-mile drive from Corning to here. It's a little tiny nothing town. I passed a Napa Auto Parts store, a car dealership, a really tiny one, a Sunoco, 2 churches, and this place, the Country Thrift. Let's see what they have inside. One of the things I am really interested in learning about is jewelry to resell. This was an insane amount of jewelry, and I felt very overwhelmed by it. So I did not look anything up for resale purposes, but I did get a couple things for me because I am trying to wear a little bit more jewelry, and I love finding it secondhand. This store had all sorts of little goodies. I was really loving these wooden creatures. This one was kind of cool and said Haiti, I believe, on the bottom. The little rhino, I loved him. But $3, I feel like overall this place was priced really low. It reminded me a lot of my favorite thrift store back home. They had a lot of brass. I have found some brass things to resell in the past. I didn't look too much in this because I really was concentrating on clothes. This picture I thought was so cute, and maybe I should have looked that up, but I didn't, sadly. I love finding little vintage overalls, and these were clearly vintage, marked at $5, but unfortunately they were not made in the US, and I didn't think that I would get that much money for them. I found these vintage towels. They were linen and just had the calendars on them. I looked them up and did not find that they had a very good sell-through rate. I mean, like very, very low, like less than 10% sell-through rate. I did buy a couple of them for myself because I thought they were very cute. I grabbed, I think, all the bird ones, and that blue and white one I thought was very cute. I love to look at suits, and this brand kind of caught my attention. It's Opposites, and that bright interior. I did look it up, and it didn't have a great sell-through rate that I saw. When I'm looking at suit coats, sport coats, suits, I'm looking for 100% linen or 100% wool, linen, or silk. I'm not super well versed on suits, but I have sold a couple for, $30 or $40, and I sold a Canali suit coat for $250. So that was a very exciting find. Unfortunately, I did not find that brand today, but did I find anything? I'll have to wait and see. All right, looking on to the tops. I did buy a fair amount of items, probably a good mix of for personal use and for reselling. I will be doing a thrift haul, so make sure you subscribe if you're interested in seeing what I bought to resell. Actually, I'll show everything. I did find quite a bit of vintage stuff at this particular store. And even though I said before at the consignment store that I just got distracted. There's a dog barking. I'm sitting outside as I'm recording this. Okay. This reminds me so much of my favorite thrift store back home. It's just a lot of stuff, really not very much organization. But I did look through every single item of clothing in that store. I needed a little pick-me-up, so I went to this little coffee shop across the street. It's called The Last Stand. This is a Fluffernutter latte. I don't know that peanut butter and coffee go together, but it's sweet and it's coffee, so we'll take it. Do you have an opinion on peanut butter and coffee? All right, I'm currently in Painted Post, and there are people watching me. video myself. I'm gonna not let it bother me. This is called the Community Thrift, and we're gonna go see what they have. This is, Painted Post is like halfway between that little town I was in that I already forgot the name of. That's terrible. I just said it. And Corning. So it's a really cute little town too. I was hoping, since I was in Corning, New York, I would find some Corning wear. I do have a little collection of Corel wear, and I collect different patterns. And I really didn't find any. I was kind of surprised. There were a few pieces here, but kind of priced very high considering, you know, they were really common patterns. This was a Mary Mecco dress, and I didn't end up looking it up because it had a hole, sadly. And that's it. Well, I hit a wall, and I didn't do a very good job of filming in there, so what you saw was probably not great. I didn't find very many things. A few things had actually decent sell-through rates, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I will do a haul and show everything with the sell-through rate and the average sale price, so hopefully that'll be good. That thrift store had a little spin the wheel. You paid $1 donation to their fund for autism, and you got a discount, so I got 50% off of yellow. But anyway, it was fun. I always enjoyed thrifting so much better with friends, so thanks for coming along with me. I will see you soon.